Do you know what's the subject matter of chapter 17? Anybody knows what is the subject matter of chapter 17? No? Really? Bhava Bhakti. That's the goal, right? We started with when we started Nectar of Devotion, we started with the definition of, what was the definition we started with?
Pure Bhakti.
Pure Bhakti. And in that we learned that the goal is, of course, those are things with the goal to go to the goal of after. Okay, we started with the pure bhakti, so you're right. Yeah, there it was not there, but then we gone to the sadhana bhakti. Okay, what was the definition of the sadhana bhakti?
Following scriptures.
Using all our senses, our speech, our mind in such a way so that we can reach the stage of bhava. Okay, so we are using, and that's the practice of the sadhana bhakti. So the goal of sadhana bhakti is bhava, right? And in the process, what all we have covered so far?
Yeah, types of sadhana bhaktis.
Okay, yeah,
And
types of sadhana bhakti, and which was Vaidhi sadhana bhakti and
Raganuga.
Raganuga sadhana bhakti. Very good. And in the Raganuga sadhana bhakti, then we went into all the detail. Okay, in the chapter 15 and 16. And what did we learn? What are some of the key takeaways where the last class ended in terms of the Raganuga Bhakti? What is required for the Raganuga Bhakti to start? What is the door entry? What is the door?
Greed.
Greed, Lobha. Very good. Lobha. Lobha is the one which will lead us to Raganuga Bhakti. Right? So it is shifts from the impetus, where the impetus is Shastra. Now from there, the Shastra, it shifts to the Lobha. And it's not that the Shastra goes away, the Shastra continues, but the starting point is Lobha, and then how to practice it. For that, one comes to the Shastra. Right? Um, um, for the sadhana, that's the part of the process. Means impetus is Shastra. As I am reading, studying Shastra, I'm hearing Shastra, I'm getting, okay, I should do more sadhana, more sadhana, more sadhana. But in the case of the Raganuga, there is a bhava. I really want to serve Krishna. This is how I want to serve Krishna. And then, okay, how can I properly serve Krishna? By the way, okay, let me go and read Shastra. So that is like that. So now, as the devotee is going through the Raganu Bhakti, right? Um, what will happen as one is developing that in greed? Start with the greed. Let's say then it gets to the intense greed. What happens after that? That is what we'll be talking bhava, right? That at certain stage there will be something magical might happen, will happen in our life. Okay, will happen in our life where it will seem that one is always in constant touch with Krishna. That is the beginning of the bhava, right? Those emotions, the true emotions for bhava means emotions, right? So true emotions for Krishna. That's what we will, the one devotee will start experiencing it. And we will be going through the different, just like we learned the different parts of Raganuga Bhakti, we'll learn about the different parts of Bhava Bhakti. Okay, so at this point of time, let me connect, share my screen. You can see my screen now.
Yes, bro.
Okay, okay, Shiva Prabhuji, you. You read it.
Translation.
And,
The
and
part
Prabhu,
of
for this, you read the text also.
sure.
This is a very important text.
Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma Prema Suryamshu Samya Bhak Ruchibhischittamashranya Vrud Asho Bhava Uchyate.
Okay, now you read it, and then we are going to repeat it. Okay, in the four part, Prabhu. Okay. So yes, go ahead.
Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma
Suddha sattva visheshatma
Prema Suryamshu Samya Bhak
prema suryamasu samya bhak
Ruchibhischittamashranya
ruchibhis chittamashhranya
Vrud
krit
Asho Bhava Uchyate.
krida ashubhava uchyate. Once more, Prabhuji.
Yeah. Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma
Suddha sattva visheshatma
Prema Suryamshu Samya Bhak
prema suryam susamya bhak
Ruchibhischittamashranya
ruchibhis chittamashhranya
Pradashau Bhava Uchyate.
krid asau bhava uchyate. Very good, Prabhu.
The translation. That part of bhakti is called Bhava, whose essence is Samvit and Hladini Shakti, which is one ray of the sun of Prema, which will soon rise in the heart and which softens the heart with desires to meet, serve, and exchange love with the Lord. Jiva
Okay.
Goswami is
Yeah, so
commented.
before we go to commentary, just let's see so that the commentary will make more sense. So it has like three parts, right? That part of bhakti is called bhava, whose essence is samvit and hladini sakti, right? Does everybody know what is samvit and hladini sakti?
Two types of Yogamaya Prabhu.
It's not Yogamaya Prabhu. These are the internal potency of Krishna, right? And just like we have Sat, Chit, Anand. So for each of those Sat, there is a corresponding Shakti. For the Chit, there is a corresponding Shakti. For there the Anand, there is a corresponding Shakti, right? So Samvit and Hildrani. So those will show up in the in the commentary, I assume. Otherwise, we'll talk about it. So he's talking about those essence. So it is the eternal potency. So how bhava is getting generated? It is the eternal potency of Krishna, Samvit Hladini Shakti, which will enable it. So Krishna is directly coming in touch at the devotee, and then it is telling which is one ray of the sun of prema. So even though this touching, like that is the like the if the sun is like the whole sun, the all the sunlight is prema, then one ray is compared to bhava, right? So you can see that bhava is so powerful what the prema could be, right? So which will and this telling which will soon rise in the heart. So as it is touching the prema, it will very soon from the bhava to prema it will manifest to the prema. Okay, and what so that's the primary symptom. The primary symptom is that the bhava will manifest, which is compared to one ray of sun, and that bhava is coming from the from the Shakti, the Samvit and Hladini Shakti, which is Krishna's personal potency. Okay. What is the secondary symptom? Which softens the heart with desires to meet, serve, and exchange love with the Lord. So this is the secondary thing which will happen. The heart of the devotee will soften like a butter, even maybe lighter than the butter, where there's so much of desire to meet Krishna, serve Krishna, exchange love with Krishna. That becomes a constant. That's the constant flow. Just like our constant flow right now, I want to enjoy, I want to have this, I want to have that. That becomes a constant flow. Okay. So with that preamble, now Prabhu, yes, please read the commentary. This is a long commentary. I will definitely say please make notes and try to understand. There are a lot of things which is being covered here. Go ahead, Prabhu.
Jiva Goswami's commentary. Bhava Bhakti should be defined. Previously, two types of bhakti were delineated in discussing the general qualities of bhakti. Cheshta Rupa and Bhava Rupa. Cheshta Rupa Bhakti, bhakti consisting of action, has two types. Sadhana Rupa, uh, for attaining Bhava Bhakti, actions as practice for attaining Bhava, and Karya Rupa, actions after attaining Bhava, the goal of practice. Karya Rupa Bhakti takes the form of anubhavas when one experiences rasa. Sadhana Rupa Bhakti has just been described. The anubhavas of Karya Rupa Bhakti will be shown in relation to rasa in the second way of southern section. Bhava Rupa Bhakti has two types: Sthai Rupa, permanent emotion, and Sanchari Rupa, transitory emotion. Sthai Rupa has two types: Prema, which also indicates higher states such as Pranaya, to Bhava, also called Rati, which is the preliminary stage of bud of Prema. Sanchari Rupa Bhakti will be discussed later in relation to Rasa in the fourth wave of southern section. Suddha Sattva Visheshatma.
So here, like, so let's summarize. What is our takeaway from here before you keep moving?
So overall, three categories that we described: sadhana, bhava, prema. Like at a high level, that so far we are discussing, those are being described as chesta rupa and bhava rupa. And out of chesta rupa, it is explained again like sadhana rupa
Hmm.
for attaining bhava bhakti. I mean, that's what the definition that we discussed.
Hmm.
And karya rupa, which is like bhava bhakti after attaining bhava, what we do. So yeah, that
So
is
yeah, so he's telling the action will continue after Bhava Bhakti also. So same action what we are doing. We say that the goal and the goal in the process is the same, right? Which is the Bhakti, right? So we are doing action serving Krishna to get the Bhava, and after once the devotee get the Bhava, they continue doing the same thing, but the emotions are totally different, and that is called Karya Rupa Bhakti. Okay, go ahead, Prabhuji.
yeah. And
And
Bhavarupa Bhakti again, I think Karyarupa Bhakti takes, Bhava city selling, which is a
yeah,
new term for
yeah,
us.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Sad,
Second paragraph. So just see what are the
yes.
things we. Yeah. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Bhavarupa Bhakti, again, like there are two types. One is Sthai Rupa, other one is Sanchari Rupa.
Sanchari Rupa.
So, yeah, again, Sthai Rupa has again two types. One is Prema, two is Bhava. So, Prema is being the sun, Bhava is being the ray of the sun. Yeah.
Very
So,
good.
Sanchari Rupa, yeah.
Yeah, and Sanchari Rupa is transient emotion, right? So Sanchari Rupa, you can see this is so let's say suddenly Shiva Prabhu doesn't call her parents today, call his parents today, right? But he takes the ticket and he reaches India. Day after tomorrow, he rings the bell. His mom comes out, not expecting, oh, somebody, right? And she sees Shiva Prabhu. What the kind of emotion she's going to have? She will First she will laugh. Oh Shiva, you are here. And then she will start crying. Oh Shiva, you have come after such a long time. Why didn't you tell me? I could have cooked something. Okay, okay, come now. Then she might get angry. Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you tell me? She will give all these emotions. So these all emotions are called sanchari. These are coming transient, right? These are Sanchari Bhava. The Sthai Bhava is her love for Shiva Prabhu. Makes sense? Okay?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, Hari Bol. Go ahead, Prabhuji now.
So, Suddha Sattva Visheshatma. Now, this verse describes Bhava, also called Rati, which is the general form of Sthai Bhava, in the bud of Sthai Bhava, which continues to exist in the higher stages such as Pranaya and Mahabhava. By using the phrase Shuddha Sattva Visheshatma, the author indicates that in the future, this bhava will transform into more elevated states, culminating in Mahabhava. In this verse, Shuddha Sattva refers to Samvit, which is a transformation of the Lord's Swarupa Shakti. Samvit means knowledge, whose intrinsic nature is that it is self-revealing. Shuddha Sattva here does not indicate the mode of goodness, which is also called Sattva, but which belongs to material nature. This Shuddha Sattva is described in the second part of Bhagavat Sandarbha and in the second chapter of Vaishnava Toshani. As well, the combination of Shuddha Sattva with the word Vishesha to form the word Shuddha Sattva Vishesha, excellent part of Suddha Sattva, refers to another transformation of the Swarupa Shakti called Hladini. This Shakti is described in the Vishnu Purana. Hladini Sadhini Samvit, Tvayi Eka Sarva Samshraye, Tapa Kari Mishra, Tvayi no Gunavarjite. The Hladini, Sandhini, and Samvit Shaktis are one energy which resides in you, in the shelter of all things. The mixture of happiness and distress found in the material world does not exist in you, who are beyond the gunas. Vishnu Purana. Following from this statement, it should be understood that this Hladini is the greatest energy of Lord and should be understood to be the very essence of all the combined, concentrated transformation of his Swarupa Shakti. Furthermore, the power of the combination of Hladini and Samvit causes the most intense state of desiring to please the Lord. This intense desire resides within Lord's eternal associates. Further, concentration of this condensed Hladini will transform Bhava into highest state of Mahabhava called Modana. This is subject of Sri Ujjwala Nilamani. Radhikayuta evasau Modano no tu sarvataha. Yes, Sriman Hladini Shakte Suvilasha Priyovara. Modana belongs to Radha's group and does not appear elsewhere. It is the most glorious, pleasing, charming manifestation of the Hladini Shakti. Ujjwala Nilam.
Okay,
Asho
so
Bhava.
okay,
Yeah,
wait,
yeah.
Will. So okay, so let's cover this part and let me just hold on. I'll just take the this is it's very revealing, but there are so many new terms which is being introduced, right? So okay, so now Prabhu or anybody, let's talk. What are the key takeaways for Suddha Sattva Visheshatma?
First thing it is described, Suddha Sattva is not about the Sattva Guna, which is part of three modes of material nature.
Mhm.
So, Shuddha Sattva is beyond the material modes of nature. So, which is like Vasudeva, but we also call Vasudeva. And uh, and here, initially it is started with the Sthai Bhava that we discussed clear. In the Sthai Bhava, again, there are further more stages like Pranaya and Mahabhava, which is new thing.
Yeah, yeah, yep.
And one more thing it
So,
is telling Vishesha.
mhm. So before that, Prabhuji, so see, Suddha Sattva Vishesha, right? So what is Suddha Sattva? Where the Suddha Sattva is coming from? Let's go like this. Where the Suddha Sattva is coming from? What is the impetus for that?
Hladini Shakti.
Sorry, Mataji, what was that?
Hladini Shakti.
Not Ladni, Samvit. So you are close.
Samvit.
Samvit.
Okay.
Samvit Shakti, right? And what is Samvit Shakti?
It's a knowledge.
It's a knowledge. So and how the knowledge is helping? It is the revealed knowledge. That's what it is saying. So that's the
Creating
reason
Bhava.
it's a revealed knowledge. So this Samvit Shakti, which is the knowledge potency, it does the revelation. So this is now because it's a Krishna's energy, it manifests within the heart. So so by Krishna's blessing, now that energy is touching us, the devotee, and that will go and do the self revelation. So that the internal connection from the Krishna's directly connection is happening within our heart, and from there, that Suddha Sattva is born, right? Which is not the mode of goodness. It is in the it is in the it's transcendental to the three modes of nature. Suddha Sattva develops. And now, Prabhuji, now talk about the Vishesha. What is Vishesha?
So Vishesha, they are telling cream of the creams kind of a definition. So they are telling like, so after coming to Shuddha Sattva, like there are further energies. They are telling Hadini, Sadhini, and Samvit. These are the three energies which is they are quoting from Vishnu Purana. and Hladini and Sandhini Shaktis. Hladini is being the one of the greatest uh, energies of the Lord, where the Prema level uh, uh,
Yes. So yeah. So
Bhava
we will. Yeah. We will get there. So see, I just gave it to the AI so that we can see the whole visual. Okay. This will be helpful most, for all of us. So that part of the bhakti is called bhava, whose essence is Samvit and Hladini Shakti, which is one ray of the sun of Prema, which will soon rise in the heart and which softens the heart with desire to meet, serve, and exchange love with the Lord. Okay, this is the definition of this particular verse 1.3.1, which is setting the definition what is Bhava Bhakti. And since Jai Radha Mataji and Janni Mataji just joined, um, so what is telling what is Bhava, right? So Bhava is emanating from the Samvit and Hladini Shakti, which is Krishna's energy. And we talked about this, just like we have Sat Chit Anand, Krishna's potency. Each of those potency has the corresponding Shaktis, right? So Samvit is the Chit Shakti, Hladini is the Ananda Shakti, right? So these two Shaktis are mainly responsible for creating the Bhava in the devotee. It is compared with the one ray of the sun, okay, and this directly rises in the heart. And as we are reading the detail, how it is, how it manifests is it was talking about the term Suddha Sattva Visheshatma, right? The Shuddha Sattva. So that Shuddha Sattva, which is the which is not the mode of goodness, it is the real goodness. It is the transcendental goodness which is born by the revelation. So Samvit is the knowledge. So that knowledge gets into our heart and it reveals the knowledge from inside, right? That who we are, what is our we are the pure soul, and then the love, the all the layers anarthas goes away, has gone away almost, and then last bit of those are lost, means are removed, and then there is a direct connection with Krishna. And that's where the true bhava means emotions, the true emotions that starts coming. So that is the primary thing, right? That the primary symptom of the bhava is that what is bhava and where it is coming from, which is from Hladini and Samvit Shakti. The secondary symptom is which softens the heart with desires to meet, serve, and exchange love with the Lord. So that desire, intense desire, that will become a constant, just like a blood. That is the flow which will happen in the devotee's heart. Now, there are multiple pieces to it. So what we have covered right now, Suddha Sattva Vishesha Atma. Its essential nature is the Lord's Sarupa Shakti, right? The combination of Samvit and Hladini. So right now we have only read Suddha Sattva. Vishesha Atma we haven't read, which will be talking about, right? So what else before that? Chesta Rupa. This is something in the previous paragraph we did. Chesta Rupa, Sadhana Rupa, and Karya Rupa. Sadhana Rupa is what we studied in chapter 2 to 16, that the actions which we are doing to progress on the part of sadhana. And Karya Rupa, once the action will continue even after bhava, but that is called Karya Rupa. Right? The mood will be totally different. The same actions of servitude is happening, but the mood is very different. It's a purity, right? It's Krishna is mine. And then, so that's what Chesta Rupa, that's one classification. And Bhava Rupa, there are Sthai Rupa, a Sthai Bhava, and Sanchari Bhava. Okay, a Sthai Bhava we talked about, which is the permanent emotions, Sanchari, which is the transient emotion. Okay, and and then from here, Samvit we talked about, Hladini we talked about. Okay, so remainder we will cover after finishing all the full paragraph. Okay, and I'll share this if I think it has done a good job. I think,
Yes, Prabhu. Yeah.
yeah, AI can do wonders. All right.
We
Okay,
use the
Prabhuji.
agency.
Yes, Prabhu, I use the agency. Okay, Prabhuji. So up to this much we covered. Yeah, and Hladini was the Visheshatma. Okay, so Hladini we did cover in this paragraph. So this Suddha Sattva Visheshatma. right? So this is Suddha Sattva is the Samvit Shakti, right? And Vishesh Atma is the Hladini part. So together is the Suddha Sattva Vishesh Atma. And if you remember, there were 6 stages in chapter 2. We studied this. There are stages of on the path of bhakti, right? And this is the Suddha Sattva Vishesh Atma. That was the fifth stage, right? Or sixth stage. That was that's where it is coming from. Okay, Prabhu, go ahead.
Asho Bhava Uchyate. The word Asho in the text verse indicates the general form of bhakti, which is indicated as continual service to Krishna with favorable intentions. Anukulyena Krishna Anushilam. Even though the general form of bhakti, according to the meaning of grammatical root of silanam, was indicated to have two forms, chesta and bhava. In this verse, chesta rupa bhakti should not be accepted as the meaning in this verse, since the subject under discussion is bhava. The characteristic of bhava will be described as feelings rather than action. Bhavas are defined as variety of conditions of the mind produced through a relation between subject and object of love, which produces transformations of the body and senses. Chitta vritti in the definition refers to variety of conditions, transformations of the mind. Amarakosha says, Vikaro manaso bhavaha. Bhava means transformation of the mind. This does not refer in the present context to Vyabhichari bhavas, which also transform the mind, which will be described later. That is because in the present definition, it is mentioned that bhava creates a softening of the heart. The Vyabhichari bhavas does not soften the heart, but rather act upon those devotees whose hearts have already been softened. The verse also describes bhava as the preliminary state of prema, and this cannot apply to Vyabhichari bhavas. Therefore, the meaning is this: the general bhakti, ashav, which was defined as favorable service to the Lord, is called bhava when referring to one particular portion of it called bhava rupa bhakti. What is essential nature of that bhava? Bhava has as its swarupa or essence in Atma, Krishna's swarupa shakti in the form of Hladini and Samvit, Suddha Sattva Vishesha. This swarupa is an eternal object and eternal manifestation, Nitya Siddha, situated within the eternal dear associates of the Lord, uniting itself with its place of appearance, name, the mind of devotees, namely the mind of devotee. This bhava becomes variety of mental conditions, chitta vritti, characterized by a favorable attitude to the Lord.
Okay, so this was also a long paragraph. So, okay, so let's understand what are some of the key elements of this. So basically, this is talking about what what kind of bhava we are talking about, right? What is that bhava? So that's where these words are being further elaborated. Ashahu bhava uchyate, right? And that's where Jiva Goswami is linking with anukulena krishnanu silanam, right? And that's where he's telling that what is silanam. So silanam here means chesta and bhava. So there are two kind of action, chesta rupa and bhava rupa with kriya rupa, right? So he's referring to that. And now he's further elaborating. Chesta Rupa Bhakti should not be accepted as the meaning in this verse, since the subject under discussion is Bhava. So here it's telling that even though I'm talking about Chesta, but the the uh, the topic of discussion is Bhava. So think it from the Bhava perspective, and then he gives the reference from the from the Bhakti-rasāmṛta-sindhu itself, from the later chapter, that bhava is defined as a variety of condition of the mind. So this is where, see, what is bhava? It is our emotion. Emotions are the symptom of the mind. Right now, our emotions are material or not pure because our mind is in touch with the material energy. Once the mind is in touch with Samvit Shakti, then what will happen? The emotions will be spiritual, and that's where we have the same body, right? Same senses, but now it has transformed, and that's the bhava he's talking about. Okay. Now chitta vritti. So this paragraph I was also trying to understand. Chitta vritti in the definition refers to the variety. So chitta vritti. So you see the word which is coming to me, chitta vritti nirodha. This is the from the Patanjali Sutra. This is the first verse, that the yoga is the way where the chitta vritti nirodha, with that our mind has these waves, right? It's always just like a ocean. It has lot of weight. Just chitta vritti. It's not quiet. It's vritti. Vritti means um, there is some incorrect, means which is not proper, right? Vritti means some incorrectness has been introduced into a fully something nice, right? So something which is supposed to be always very calm, something has been introduced which is causing the waves. So it's called chitta vritti. Okay. So now chitta vritti refers to a variety of condition of the mind. And then here from the Amrakosa dictionary, bhava means transformation of mind. So chitta vritti. So as these emotions are happening, the waves which is always going up and down due to the material aspiration calms down. And now it is in touch with Krishna. And with that emotions, now one is approaching the Krishna. Okay. And then it says the Vaibhachari Bhava do not soften the heart. So there is Vaibhachari Bhava, means the Bhava which is which we have right now. Okay. Um, uh, which is we it is the opposite of that bhava, the bhava which we are looking for Krishna. So Vaibhachari Bhava, right? So it is saying that that is not applying to that, it is applying to the true emotion. So here what is telling, therefore the meaning is this, that general bhakti, so ashu, and then um, which was defined as favorable service to the Lord, is called bhava. When referring to one particular portion of it is called bhava rupa bhakti. So it is one ray, right? So bhava rupa bhakti, that is essential nature of that bhava. And atma surupa shakti from Samvit, okay. And this surupa is an eternal object, an internal manifestation, nitya siddha. So now, as the bhava will mature, right, it is telling that situated within the eternal, this Swarupa is an eternal object. Swarupa means our new, the thing which was our original position. Swarupa is our original position, Roop, right? Our original constitutional position. That's what it is talking about. So as bhava is touching, as Krishna energy is touching the devotee, and the purification happens, and with that purification, one has developed the true uh, mood of serving Krishna, and developed the true emotions of being in touch with Krishna. That that will ultimately lead to one having the constant relationship with Krishna, which is Nitya Siddha. That's what it is talking about. This bhava becomes a variety of mental condition, chitta vritti, characterized by a favorable attitude to Lord. So here chitta vritti in this case is telling that this bhava becomes a variety of mental condition characterized by a favorable attitude. So what is the chitta vritti? What we have, the waves, our initial waves right now, what we have is the wave of material desire, right? And as the Patanjali Sutra was talking about chitta vritti nirodha, so removing that chitta vritti will become the vritti for Krishna. So it's still saying that it won't be quiet. There will be waves, but these waves are totally waves for Krishna's love, right? So the wave which was for material, it's getting converted into a wave for Krishna. Okay, Prabhuji, go ahead.
Ruchibis chitta masranyakrit. Furthermore, this bhava softens the heart, mind with its desires, ruchibihi, for meeting the Lord, serving the Lord favorably, and attaining the friendship of the Lord. This bhava is also the sprout which will become prema and which will be described later. Prema Suryamsru Samya Bhak. By comparing prema to the sun, there is a suggestion that just as the sun will appear soon after the light of dawn, Prema will appear very soon after the appearance of Bhava as well. It is like a ray of the sun, Prema Suryamshu Samya Bha. It is the first glow of the sun of Prema. It will be explained later that Prema is the condensed form of Bhava. Bhava sa eva sandratma buddhaihi. Prema nigadyate. This bhava, whose very form is the essence of Hladini function of the Lord, should also be understood to be non-material, since it makes the happiness of liberation insignificant, brings about the Lord's appearance, and produces bliss. If one is particularly inquisitive about proofs, one should see the Priti Sandarbha. Through this bhava is seen in the eternal assets of the Lord, the mental conditions of the devotees within this world become similar. By the mercy of Lord and his devotees, by this mercy alone it shall appear. There is no need to elaborate further.
Wow. Okay, so where is my... Okay, so let's look through it. So Suddha Sattva Visheshatma, Prema Surama Syama Bhak, and Ruchibhis Chitta Mashran Krit. So three parts, right? So this is Swarupa Lakshan. What is the essence? And this is the Prema Surya Samak Bhak. This is the analogy. What we should be compared with. This is the ray of sun, right? So compare this quality, which is bhava, which is being called like what is the transformation is happening. Suddha Sattva, it is happening due to the Suddha Sattva, which is the revealed knowledge, right? And that is leading to the transcendental Sattva. And then it is mixed with the potency of Hladini and it becoming that's making it special, right? So there is a lot of bliss in that. And it is compared with the ray of sun. And then what is the effect? What is the Tatastha Lakshana? So softens the heart. So this is the secondary one, right? Softens the heart with three desires: to meet Krishna, to serve him favorably, and to attain his friendship. So that is how we understand the definition. Okay, and taxonomy of bhakti we have already gone over it, so not to repeat it. Um, what is the Jiva Goswami key distinction? Bhava creates a softening of the heart. The Vyabhachari Bhava is not soften the heart. They act upon heart that have already been softened by Bhava. This is why Bhava and Vyabhachari are categorized different, even though both are transformation of the mind. So there are Suddha Sattva, so two Shaktis, and that two Shaktis are the Samvit and Hladini. So and then of course there's a reference from the Vishnu Puran. The Hladini, Sandini and Samvit Shaktis are the one energy. So it is the internal potency of Krishna. Now, but then it is further divided to make the distinction. How each of those is, even though one energy, how it is acting, which resides in you. In Krishna, it is referring to Krishna, the shelter of all things. The mixture of happiness and distress found in the material world does not exist in you, who are beyond the guna. So this is the definition which is coming from Vishnu Purana. And Samvit we talked about, Hladini we talked about, so not repeating it. And then Prema Suryamasi, the sun ray analogy, right? The full sun is called Prema, and the single ray that is compared with the Bhava. So even though Bhava is a very advanced stage, it is nothing compared to the whole Prema. And Bhava itself, it is uncomparable with anything which this world has seen. Even the happiness derived from the Brahman realization. So it is like if the Brahman is the ocean, then that one like sorry, if the Brahman is one drop of bliss, the the bhava is like a ocean, right? And if bhava is considered to be like a one drop, then the prema is like a ocean. So that's the kind of comparison is being made in the our scriptures. And further, ruchibis chitta mashmaya, how bhava softens the heart. So how the bhava is softening the heart. So prapti abhilasha, desire to meet the Lord. I want to be with Krishna. Anukulena abhilasa, desire to serve the Lord favorably. And then soharda abhilasha, desire for friendship, intimacy with the Lord. Okay, so so here Jiva Goswami clarification: Bhava is not mere intellectual understanding; it is the Lord's own Swarupa Shakti and eternal object, Nitya Siddha, situated within his eternal associates. When it unites with the mind of a devotee, it becomes a variety of mental condition. So Krishna's energy is coming, and it is combining with our mental condition, and that's the chitta vritti which is being talked about, talked in the explanation, characterized by a favorable attitude to the Lord. This happens by the mercy of the Lord and his devotee alone. There is no other way. So this will be other how one can get. So here it has gone already. It was I don't remember it was being covered here, or maybe it covered, I didn't pay the attention that it's telling that it comes only by the mercy of the Lord and his devotee, or his devotee. Okay, so and this will be further elaborated for sure. There's no other way. So the bhava can only comes, it doesn't come by our own endeavor. So chesta is our endeavor that we have been doing. It will get us that far, right? But then how ultimately to get the bhava we need the mercy. And one of the analogy which I've also heard, you can see the bhava is just like a hinge, right? If the door is there, all right, so bhava is like a hinge, it is on attached to the door, it's opening the door and leading to the prema, right? And that opening of the door is lobha. So you can just think like that. So Hladini concentration, Jiva Goswami reveals that by using Suddha Sattva Visheshma Atma, Rupa Goswami indicates that Bhava will transform into more elevated states, culminating in Mahabhava. As Hladini concentrates further and further, it produces increasingly intense state. So this is the state which will be talked little bit in chapter 19, but this is a subject matter which gets covered beyond chapter 19. Our study will be up to chapter 19. You can do the self study after that, or you will see these things also sometimes come in the Chaitanya Charitamrita also. So bhava to prema. Then after that there are stages within the prema. So prema is again is further uh, elaborated, right? So the stages are pranaya, mana, sneha, mahabhava, and here said modana, but you'll say mahabhava. So there are like 8 stages after the prema, as far as I can remember. It is only talking about, so it is only taking what has been elaborated in this particular verse. So pranaya was mentioned, mana was mentioned, sneha was mentioned, mahabhava and modana was mentioned, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right? I think some of the Goswamis, they have elaborated into eight stages as far as I remember. Okay, so Mudana, what is that's the summit of Hladini? It is the highest. Mudana belongs to Radha's group and does not appear elsewhere. It is the most glorious, pleasing, charming manifestation of the Hladini Shakti. So this devotee, the practitioner, won't get it. This is something which is only like at the Radharani's level, right? Mahabhava is also at the Radharani level, but Mudana is telling it's very exclusive for the Radharani group. So maybe, and this is something I don't know. So let me not be used. The maybe that will be a bad thing. So the complete arc, how to see Samvit plus Hladini combines to form Suddha Sattva. This descends as Bhava, the bird. As Hladini concentrates further, Bhava intensifies through Prema, Pranaya, Mana, Sneha, reaching Mahabhava and its pinnacle, Modana, which exists exclusively in Srimati Radharani group. The seed planted in this particular verse flowers into highest reality of Ujjvala Nilamani. Okay, and then further it makes the comment why Vava is non-material, because makes liberation insignificant, right? So I was talking about we say Brahma Ananda, right? Which happens once one has got into the Brahma Jyoti. So it says even the Brahma Ananda is insignificant, just like a drop compared to the ocean. So and then brings the Lord appearance. Bhava causes Krishna himself to manifest and produces transcendental bliss. Okay, and so Jiva Goswami final point: though Bhava eternally exists in the Lord's associate, so Bhava eternally exists in the Lord associate, which who are called Nitya Siddha, the mental condition of devotee in this world becomes similar to it by the mercy of the Lord and his devotee. By this mercy alone, bhava appears. There is no need to elaborate further. This was the paragraph which was being elaborated. And you see, if there was any confusion why Nitya Siddha was being talked about, the emotions which the Nitya Siddha have. So of course the devotee is not becoming Nitya Siddhas, right? They are the sadhana Siddhas, the devotee who who is elevating himself or herself, they will be called sadhana Siddhas. That through the sadhana they have come to the Siddha stage where they have realized their eternal position. But their mood, their emotions will be similar to what a Nitya Siddha has, right? So the mental condition will become similar to Nitya Siddhas. And this only happens by the mercy of the Lord and his devotees. There is no other way to get it. Okay, so this is the summary of this particular uh, verse. Cool. Does it make sense? Any questions, comment on this?
Oh, one thing like, at least when we are seeing like Bhava is a ray of the son of Prema. So this is also kind of to be attained by sadhana, or is it something bestowed by Krishna?
No, so okay. So sadhana, that's what is called chesta rupa. Okay,
Yeah.
so sadhana is called chesta rupa. Okay, and that includes both the Vaidhi sadhana as well as the Raganuga sadhana. Okay, so both are sadhana, and typically in the Vaidhi, as one is progressing, they made is like a junction, right? So from the Vaidhi, one may jump to the Raganuga and they continue to practice, and there will be the other way where the one devotee will continue on the path of Vaidhi and they will hit the Bhava. So both will hit the Bhava ultimately. So one will be Vaidhi and then Raganuga and then Bhava. Other is Vaidhi all the way and Bhava. Okay, so what was the question, Prabhu? I lost the train of
To
thought.
simplify, Prabhu, we were discussing earlier. So door should be open from internally, from inside, right? Is it also the Bhava? It should be that state.
Bhava only happens when the internal door is open. It doesn't happen by our endeavor, right? And there's a very nice analogy, like in the South India, there are very big temples, right? In the
Srirangam?
Sri Rangam temple. Okay, let's get Sri Rangam temple. And there are three gates. So the first outer ring, right?
Yeah.
So that is one is able to enter through our efforts. Okay, I'm getting into the line, entering inside, and then there is an internal perimeter. Again, you are getting into the line. It will take a long time, and then lot of effort, and then we are entered to the second. But then you come to the Lord's door, which is locked from inside,
Yeah.
right? And that we cannot do. We cannot go and push open. We have to just wait that when the door, the pujari are going to come and open the door. That is Krishna. And when that Krishna or his devotee, when they come and open that door, that's what will lead to bhava. Okay, that's
Okay.
one ray. Okay, Prabhu.
Got it.
All right. So wonderful. Preeti Mataji, read please too.
Yeah, Prabhu, one second. तथा हि तन्त्रे
You can
प्रेम
just read the English Mataji. That the
English?
first
Okay,
yeah,
Prabhu.
yeah, yeah. First verse was special. That's the reason we recited that.
Okay, sure, Prabhu.
Yeah, yeah.
Translation. In a Tantra 141, it is said the preliminary state of prema is called bhava. There are a few sattvika bhavas, such as tears in the eyes and hairs standing on the end. Jiva Goswami's commentary. This verse shows that bhava is the ray of prema or the sprout of prema.
Continue.
1.3.3 translation. An example of sattvika bhavas appearing at this stage from the Padma Purana. Continually meditating on the lotus feet of the Lord, Ambarisha developed slight transformations of heart and tears in his eyes.
Okay, so it is talking about the example of the sattvic bhava, the transient emotion, right? So I hope everybody is following. This is the example we discussed today about the Shiva Prabhu going to his house without informing his mother. right? So the emotions which she will be showing, like the laughing and then crying and then getting angry at Shiva Prabhu that why you didn't inform, those are all the examples of the Sattvic Bhava, transient Bhava. Okay, Mataji, continue.
Translation. Appearing in the mental functions, bhava becomes the mental state itself. Though bhava is self-revealing, it appears to become manifest by the mind. Though in its essential nature, bhava is taste itself, it also acts as a cause of tasting the pastimes of Krishna, his associates, and his pastimes. Jeev Goswami's commentary. Two verses now describe in more detail that rati or bhava, which was just described when it appears in the Lord's dear devotees in this world. That asau, which has the form of Shuddha Sattva Vishesha and has a pleasure as its essence, is called rati. Because literally the meaning of rati is pleasure, though this rati is self revealing, not dependent on anything else, since it reveals Krishna and everything else, it, by its mercy, manifests within the functioning of the mind of the Lord's dear devotees in this world, and then becomes one with their minds. It becomes their minds and their emotions, Tattva Swaruptam Prajanti. It appears Bhasamana in the mind as if by the actions of the mind, Prakashayat, though it is self revealing independent. This is like Brahman, the Supreme Lord, who, though self revealing and independent, makes his appearance as if being born. By its own arrangement, Swayam Bhava acts as previous and later states as both cause and effect. Factually, bhava is taste or delight itself by its portion which experiences the sweetness of Krishna. Still, to rati or bhava asau by another portion becomes the cause of tasting Krishna's many forms and activities which are most desired by the experiencer. Its Samvit awareness portion accomplishes this effectively. However, by the Hladini portion, rati simply remains as blissful state. It is the experience of bliss effect. 142. Vastuta here means what actually happens. The word tu is used to show distinction of the two aspects, cause and effect. Krishnadi means Krishna and his associates, pastimes, form, and qualities.
Okay, so what is the takeaway from this verse 4 and 5?
It's more description about what bhava is, like, the mental state, and um, I mean, it's mentioned it's self revealing, like as if you're tasting the Krishna's pastimes. Um,
Yeah, and you see the this Jiva Goswami commentary is connecting at the end. So though
mhm,
bhava is self-revealing, it appears to become manifest by the mind. So it seems because see, the mind is being associated with our emotions. Now our emotions are being transformed into the transcendental emotions. So it seems that is a function of mind, but it is not. So and this is the way what is comparing that Krishna appears that he is being born, but he's not. Right? So it
mm,
appears. So it seems that it is a function of the mind, but it is not because it is the mind is from the material realm, right? It is it is coming through the realm of Krishna. Okay, so that's and it also acts as a cause of tasting the pastime of Krishna. So here the other parallel is being drawn. Though in its essential nature, bhava is a taste itself, right? I am the devotee is getting the taste of Krishna. They are seeing the Krishna's leela, pastime. They are feeling the bliss from just saying the one single syllable of Krishna's name, but then it also acts as a cause of tasting the pastime of Krishna, because through that taste, one is tasting the pastime of Krishna. Well, so as one is entering into the pastime, they are tasting even more and more and more. So it is required. So this bhava is required to enter into the which enter into the Krishna's realm, which is a taste in itself. Bhava itself, just entering into the Krishna's realm, will give the taste, lot of bliss. But this is a medium also through which one has to enter into the pastime, which will lead to more and more of the taste. Right, so it's telling it's a medium as well as it's a means as well as the medium, right? So that's is kind of that analogy which is being done, and then his associates and his pastime, of course. So that's what I think here the whole uh, description is, right? So here he's the Jiva Goswami is breaking the different words, and he talks about like, okay, what is Swayam, what is Vastu, what is the real Vastu, right? And what is Krishnadi. So that's what he is talking about. Okay.
Sure.
Okay. So Jai Radha, Mrinali Mataji, are you back?
Yes, Prabhu, I can read.
Okay, read.
Bhava appears in very fortunate persons in two ways: by absorption in sadhana or by mercy of Krishna or his devotee. Its appearance by sadhana is normal and its appearance by mercy is rare. Jiva Goswami commentary. In this verse, the cause of bhava arising in the devotees of this world is discussed. Persons become very fortunate. Ati Dhanyatam by prior association with the great devotees. Bhava Pavarko.
Mataji, just leave that Sanskrit. Read the English, please.
Okay. When the material life of a wandering soul has ceased, O Achyuta, he may attain the association of your devotees, and when he associates with them, there awakens in him devotion unto you, who are the goal of the devotees and the Lord of all causes of their effects. Srimad Bhagavatam 10.51.53. My dear King Raghugana, unless one has the opportunity to smear his uh, entire body with the dust of the lotus feet of great devotees, one cannot realize the absolute truth. One cannot realize the absolute truth simply by observing celibacy, brahmacharya, strictly following the rules and regulations of householder's life, leaving home as a vanaprastha, accepting sannyasa, or undergoing severe penance is in winter by keeping oneself submerged in water or surrounding oneself in summer by the fire and the scorching heat of the sun. There are many other processes to understand the absolute truth, but the absolute truth is only revealed to one who has attained the mercy of great devotees. Srimad Bhagavatam 5.1212. Discussion that is more detailed will be found in Bhakti Sandarbha. Sri Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakura's commentary. This verse describes two ways in which Bhava appears by sadhana and by mercy of Krishna and his devotees. Sadhana, sadhana bhini veshana, absorption in sadhana, means by bhakti at the stage of nishta, after anartha nivritti, ati dhanyanam, of means of those who have the great fortune which arises from previous association with great devotees.
Okay, so what is the key takeaway of this verse?
Sadhana is normal, but getting associated with devotees is by mercy of Krishna. So,
No, Mataji, this is not what it's telling. See, it is telling
mm,
bhava. There are two cause of appearing the bhava.
yes.
So one is bhava appears. So of course, anybody getting the bhava is very fortunate person, right? And it appears in two ways. One is by absorption in sadhana. So just following the regulative principles and and practicing our sadhana using the shastras, right? Vaidhi sadhana, and then continuing on that, or going to the Raganuga and practicing it, practicing on that, or and that of course that will ultimately, then it will need the mercy of the Lord to get the bhava, but that is the path. Okay, so chesta is happening, our endeavor is happening on that path, and then Krishna sees, oh, you are trying so hard, and then gives the mercy, and then the door opens and one is in the bhava stage. The second path is somebody by the Krishna's own will or the will of Krishna's devotee, they will get the mercy and they will directly seems to come into the bhava stage of bhava. They need not practice the sadhana at all, right? But then this mercy case is very rare. Okay, the normal process is following in the sadhana stage. Okay, so that's what he's talking about. Okay, so and then and for example, for we will talk about the example, right, later, that what are some of the example of the mercy case, what happens. Okay, so we'll talk about that later, but I just want to keep what it is being mentioned here. Okay, and of course in the description, what um, from the Srimad Bhagavatam, it is telling that just following the austerity like brahmacharya or vanaprastha, none of those, of sannyasa, nothing is going to really. These are this will this is the good part of sadhana, but that by itself it's not going to lead to the um, bhava. Okay, so that's what it was emphasizing. Okay, Jai Radha Mataji, you can read this 7-8.
Okay. Bhava arising from absorption in sadhana will be discussed first. Bhava arising from sadhana has two types, arising from Vaidhi sadhana and arising from Raguna sadhana. Absorption in sadhana, nishta, produces ruchi, then ashkiti, and then rati or bhava for the Lord. Vishwanatha Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. Bhava may arise by Vaidhi sadhana or Raguna sadhana. This gives rise to two varieties of bhava. Sadhana gives rise to nishta without developing ruchi, and then ashkiti, how will bhava arise? This verse answers by saying that one must go through those stages.
Okay, so there are 8 stages in the bhakti, right? And so after anartha nivritti, nishtha, right? That's where the absorption is happening. And after that nishtha, ruchi and asakti. Okay, so first then there is the ruchi, is the interest. There's a genuine interest, the emotional interest, right? So that is the emotional interest for Krishna and Radha Rani and their pastime, Ruchi. And uh, asakti is where one cannot live without it, right? So let's say somebody is developing the interest in watching TV. They come and after the work they come, they turn on the TV. They watch for some time, then say, okay, I'm done. Okay, let's go for a walk or eat something. But let's say somebody become a too completely addict, they cannot live without the TV, right? Now you turn this is like a material conception. Now turn that this TV is a Krishna TV, right? So that's what Ashakti is, that one cannot live without the Krishna's TV, right? So that's Ashakti, and that will lead to the Bhava. That Bhava is also being called as Rati, right? The real emotion. All right, last verse for today. Janani Mataji.
Translation.
No, Janani Mataji. Jai Radha Mataji. I'm asking Janani Mataji.
Okay.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Translation. Bhava arising from Vaidhi sadhana is illustrated. O Vyasdev, in that association and by mercy of those great Vedantists, I could hear them describe the activities of Lord Krishna. These became very attractive, ruchi. Thus, listening attentively, asakti, rati for the personality of Godhead appeared. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.5.26. Jiva Goswami's commentary. The mercy or anugraha mentioned in this verse means that the devotees gave their permission to Narad to hear. This is the scriptural procedure. You should also listen to these talks about Krishna. Manohara, attractive, indicates causing the appearance of ruchi. Shraddha or faith is not mentioned in the verse since it is always a necessary element. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur's commentary. There, every day, by the mercy of the sages who were reciting topics about Krishna, hearing those topics, I developed Rati for Krishna, who has pleasing fame. Mercy, Anugraha mentioned in this verse means that the devotees gave their permission to Narad to hear, following the scriptural procedure. You should also listen to these talks about Krishna. This indicates Vaidhi Bhakti. The word Manohara means causing the appearance of Ruchi. Though one should mention that faith, as the starting point of all stages, is the cause of Rati, the description is given in this way to show the quick appearance of Rati from absorption in the stages arising after Anartha Nivratti.
Okay, so what is the key takeaway?
So the key takeaway here, Prabhuji, is that the faith is the preliminary stage, which is required for all these further stages. But here it's being said that the mercy can manifest if a devotee, if aspiring devotee is getting chance to hear about Krishna's pastimes, about Krishna's activities, or Krishna's glorification, then that is a sign of mercy appearing through the medium of Krishna's associates. In this case, giving the example of Narad Muni, because he got to hear from the sages, that was an indication of Lord bestowing his mercy upon Narad Muni. And even though it indicates Vaidhi Bhakti, because the process of hearing, right, that is included as part of the process of hearing about Krishna is included as part of Vaidhi Bhakti, and that is what Narad Muni is recommending here, but it further develops into attractiveness towards, it reveals the attractive feature of Krishna, and which develops the ruchi, because Krishna becomes manohar, which is attractive, very attractive. Krishna's pastimes also very attractive, and that leads to ruchi.
Very good, Mataji. So ultimately, this is just the example of how the mercy is required, and that's where the Narad Muni illustration has been made. So we will end the class for today. We have it is 11 more verses, so that we will cover in the part 2 on Friday. And as I had indicated, I will be traveling. I'll try to find the time if I can do the class. Otherwise, I'll let you know. So please do pay attention to the WhatsApp whether the class is happening on Friday or not. All right. With that, I'll end the class. Anything else before we disconnect?
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
And maybe if you are going to cover that in the next classes, then feel free to skip that.
Mhm.
But I have a question about mercy. So mercy, if not utilized properly, can that also, or mercy, does it always manifest into bhava, or if it up to the person who is receiving mercy is to,
Yeah.
I mean,
So
how does
yes.
it work?
Yeah. So mercy. So see, mercy can be attracted by two ways. One is by our chesta, which is our own endeavor, right? And that is the typical thing that as the devotee is doing the practicing and they are becoming very sincere, then the mercy is required and the mercy will be received either by Krishna or by the devotee. In most of the cases, by the Krishna's pure devotee. Okay, and that will lead to bhava. Now, your question is, is there a possibility that that mercy can be misused? No, in my opinion, because when the mercies, so Krishna has completely tested us before imparting the bhava. So at that point of time, there is no possibility of going and deviating, because the devotee has been completely is getting completely clean to the stage where the mercy has been open. So that's my understanding, Mataji.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
You had something else in your mind before you asked this question, Mataji?
No, I was just curious because there are two paths mentioned here. One is the sadhana siddha. So even though Narad Muni is also mentioning mercy as part of, even for the sadhana bhakti, mercy is required, Vaidhi sadhana bhakti.
Yes.
That's what Narad Muni is saying. But in case where the you also mentioned in the previous verses, it has been described by the acharyas that one is like sadhan siddha, which gets to the stage of bhava, and the other is through mercy, right? The complete absorption
Direct.
or
Yep,
through
yeah.
the path of mercy. So my question was around the mercy, not the one who has attained the bhava stage
Okay.
through the sadhana
Okay.
siddha, but
Okay.
if uh, uh, mm, if mercy opens the door, then how does that work? Like, is it possible for that? So once somebody reaches the bhava stage, they will never fall down. Is that the correct assumption?
So that's the assumption what Prabhupada said, right? That um, the this is the question, which is that classical question that we say that okay, we fell down and that's the reason we are here. Then the question is that okay, while we are practicing this thing, are we going to again fall down? And the answer, what we have heard, that no, because now in this case, and there is a saying, right? दूध का जला छाछ को भी फूक के पीता है, right? Like, sorry, in English it means that the person who has been burned by the hot milk will always be very, very careful that even if it is being served the cold thing made of milk, still they will be very careful that it is by drinking that is not hot. So once somebody has made the mistake and as they are getting purified, they are not going to again make the mistake. So based from that understanding, that one should not fall back again to the material realm. Once the mercy has been given by Krishna, it will purify the heart completely, and one will be with Krishna.
Okay, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. And I had posted the HTML which we generated in the class in the WhatsApp. Just gives the full understanding of the Bhava Bhakti nomenclature we talked about. All right. Any other question?
Yeah, Prabhuji, so whatever you described just before, is it like for all the pure devotees or practicing devotees as well, Prabhu?
Mataji, this is for the practicing devotees, which the bhava is being talked about, right? Because when we are doing the sadhana bhakti, whether we are doing the Vaidhi sadhana or Raganuga, both are practicing stage. Okay, they are the different elevated stage, but both are for the practicing sadhakas. Okay, so it is for the sadhaka. For the pure bhakti, they are already at the level. Pure bhaktas means they are at the prema. That's where the word pure is being used. So once Harivilas Maharaj almost chastised me for using the word pure. I was using the pure for some devotee, and I was telling that Maharaj, that time Prabhu, he is like a very pure devotee. He said that Prabhu, do not use the word pure. Pure is used for somebody like Prabhupada, like who are considered to be the pure devotee. Right, so pure. So this is answer your question. No, this is not for the pure. These are for the sadhakas. For that's the process is being talked about, which will lead to the purity, which is ultimately which will lead to the full purity, which is prema.
Sure, Prabhuji. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Sure, sure.
Also,
Any,
Prabhu,
go ahead, Mataji.
does that mean sadhana bhakti leads to the mercy of Krishna, or
Yes,
is
Mataji.
it?
Sadhana bhakti will lead to the mercy of Krishna. Then only one will get the bhava.
And how is that? Sometimes it is also the mercy of devotee leads to,
I-
yeah,
yes,
bhava.
when we say mercy of Krishna means mercy of Krishna or Krishna's devotee. Both are correct.
Hmm. Okay, okay. Okay, got it, Prabhu.
Yes, Mataji.
Oh, can I insert one last piece?
Yes. No, no, please keep, means yeah, I'm staying here. Yes, please keep asking questions.
At the end, you said it was very rare to receive the Bhava mercy. It was very rare.
Mhm.
Can you explain the rareness?
Yes, yes, it is very, very rare. And this Krishna talks about in chapter 7 also, that of the many millions, right? Um, few will come to bhakti, they will start practicing, and of the many who have reached the bhakti, so they see the, let's say there are 8 billion people, 8 billion people in the on this earth today. Of them, how many devotees are there? what I have been told by the estimate based on that there may be few million of Vaishnava practitioner, maybe 2 million estimate wise. Okay, so now say from the 8 billion, we're talking about 2 million, which is again pretty rare. If you look that okay, these are becoming Vaishnavas, and Vaishnava means those who are practitioner. Of those 10 million, of those 2 million, what we are talking about, maybe 10, maybe 50,000 or 100,000 may will be really become serious, and further they will be at the stage of nishtha and practicing very sincerely and making progress. Of those 100,000, you can see that maybe there are 10,000 who will achieve the stage of bhava and prema. So it is very rare. So even though it seems it's all relative number, and I'm just making up these numbers. Okay, these numbers may not be right, but just trying to explain that what when it is telling bhava is very rare, comparing to the huge number of population what we have, how many will come to bhakti and how many will receive bhava is very, very rare. Okay, so that's what it is, what's being talked here. Makes
So
sense,
Prabhuji, who,
Mataji?
Prabhuji, whoever is connected to the disciplic succession of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is guaranteed bhava.
So Mataji, sincerity is required. Okay, just not just getting connected. Sincerity is required. It will, for some, it will be one lifetime. For some, it will be 100th lifetime, but it's guaranteed. It is from that perspective, it is guaranteed that once somebody has said Hare Krishna even once, right? They are in the Krishna's book. Okay, and for some it will take many, many lifetimes. Even in once time Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said that to Mukunda, it will take you 1 million lifetime and then he will come back to me. Of course that was a joke from his perspective, but yeah, it's possible that somebody may it will take a million lifetime before they come to Krishna, but because they have chanted Hare Krishna once, they will eventually come. But then practical understanding is not that if I've chanted once that I'm going to become a devotee if I'm not sincere, right? I have to means Krishna will keep testing me and making sure that I'm making the progress towards that. Otherwise, I'll keep going one step forward and two step back, right? But ultimately, I hope by the Krishna's mercy, Krishna will test me and they'll give me so many exams. Ultimately, I think I'll get my act together and I'll start walking straight.
It makes sense, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Yeah, Mataji. Any other question? All right. Thank you. Thank you very much. See you on Monday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Prabhuji.
Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.
Hare